listening to Cain and Randy on Scratch the Vinyl.
Scratch the Vinyl.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to Scratch the Vinyl. You guys made it back, and we're so glad that you did. Welcome back to the madness, to what we've been doing. I've got the old Halloween Madsen's Madness shirt on right now, and I'm just kind of feeling the madness right now. And my cohort, my co-host, my co-pilot, my partner in crime, he is actually back. He was gone for a moment, and he's now back, and I want to talk to him because I missed him so much. So let's get him on right now. He is the king of Sting. He is the chill man himself. He is Randy Wilson. Randy, welcome back.
Well, I'm glad to be back. Man, what a week. I missed you though. Even though we did a little video from me there in Reno, overlooking the downtown Reno. I sent you a couple video clips, kind of give you a feel what it's like to walk into the stadium and feel that
Well, I'm definitely gonna do a little montage video of some sort, so that just kind of hey, this is a day in the life of Randy, because I don't think people get it. You know what I mean? Like I get it because I'm around you a lot and I talk to you daily, but I don't think that the fans understand like the things that you do.
And that was at 6 a.m. I'm sending you those videos at 6 a.m. It's dark, and when I come back out, it's snowing. And then I go in, come back out. It's beautiful the rest of the day. It's a crazy area. It's like living in Nebraska, only just a little different, right?
Yeah.
The mountains, living around the mountains. That's kind of, for us, we don't see it all the time, but when we're in it, it's like, oh.
So I got to ask then, I think the question on everyone's mind is, did you take in any shows? Did you do it, aside from the bowling and everything, were you able to check out anything, be it comedy, be it music? What'd you check out while you were there?
Well, I'm pretty mad at myself. I had a chance to see Pete Davidson at the comedy club there on the Sunday night, but because of the schedule I was on, I was so tired. I came back after the room and I slept right through it. Can you believe that?
He was looking out for you, man. I'm sure he was messaging his buddies and he was like, I heard Mr. Chill was coming to the show and I didn't see him out there.
Pete had a chance to meet me and I blew it. I literally had nothing to do that night. It was Sunday night, nothing going on. And I got Pete Davidson right there in downtown Reno. And yeah.
I love Pete Davidson. I know that there was a little bit of a controversy last time. I believe he was in Omaha, where I think he got, I think there was some hecklers, right? I mean, you promoted and you've been around comedy forever. You used to bring comedians in, so you know what it's like. But I think that there were some hecklers or something and some people that kind of got upset with Pete. And I got to say to you people, just for a second, all right, you know what you're getting into with a comedy show, right? These guys are comedians. They're being funny. They say shocking things. Don't go there with the expectation that they're there to adhere to your every need.
They don't need you to make their show funny. And they're pros. Hecklers find out the hard way that real pro comedians will eviscerate them on stage. They go, okay, you want to go there. Everything is free game now. And I'll if I've never said this on the show before, I dealt with a lot of national comedians like Pete Davidson. Let me tell you what, I still think those guys are the most humble. They are still people of people. Like it's crazy how after the show they'll have no problem sit down talking with you. Kind of, they're just real people. I think they don't have kind of the egos that maybe other performers have or band people or whatever. I've always enjoyed most of all the national comedians I work with because they're just still, people of the people.
Well, speaking of being humbled, I was humbled over the weekend because I actually got to fill in doing karaoke at one of Mr. Chill's shows. I had to come out of retirement for a moment as Raising Cain, and I got to sit there in the man seat with big shoes to fill, and I had a hell of a night with his crowd. And but I don't know. I'm just not you, man. They're probably longing for you, but putting up with me, Randy.
Well, first off, I totally appreciate you sitting in the hot seat for a minute. Me and you we've done that for a long time, but it had been a while for you to actually be back doing a show. And you came down the Wednesday night before to kind of get a feel again. And that was pretty an amazing night, just kind of me and you back in the seat together, wasn't it?
Yeah, it felt fantastic. I was oddly really nervous that night, you know what I mean? Like if I could have like become like a puddle and just kind of ran underneath the door and out of there, I probably would have done that.
That's crazy. You did a great job. Look, I never worry about when you're in the hot seat for me. Uh my my followers, they just love to sing and have a good time. And if you know how to read the room just a little bit, which you do, this is why we've always gotten along. But I appreciate you so much for filling in, and I got nothing but great messages from everybody saying we miss you, but Cain's doing a great job. And I go, hey, it's about time we get Raising Cain back behind the microphone.
Well, in terms of like my favorite show of all time, Game of Thrones, I felt like the hand of the king, right? I felt like I'm sitting in the chair for a moment. I've got people coming to me for this and that. And I got to be the king for a second. And then as soon as it was over with, I just kind of like disappear into obscurity. So I like it that way. I definitely don't want to return to karaoke full time ever. And I think that you're doing a great job.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've got so much going on here in Lincoln and things developing and happening, and just some, from our perspective, just some really good things. And we've got a guest today that we're bringing on today who's a big part of helping develop that scene here in Lincoln, our little home city of the state of Nebraska. Why don't you tell me who it is, Cain?
Yeah, we like to do this type of show, Randy, because we're not just going to do the normal, let's just have a musician on every week, and we're gonna step outside the box. And this is gonna be stepping outside the box a little bit to show you guys how important it is and how big our community is here in Lincoln and with all the great things going on. So our guest today is gonna highlight that in a certain way, and I can't wait to bring her on. So let's not waste the sauce. Let's bring her on right now. We have Kinzee Hillis. Kinzee, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great, you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Well, it's great to finally meet you.
Yes, you both as well. Instead of just messaging over whatever app it might be, it is nice to be, although we're recording, in person in a way.
Well, big shout out to Ron Thackeray. Ever since we met Ron, it's been a great friendship, so to speak. In terms of this, he shouts us out, we shout him out. But Ron from Live Local is doing great things and connecting us with great people like yourself. So I just want to give him his proper shout out. So, Kinzee, to start, I know that you're working with art, and you have a space that we're going to talk about here in a moment. But you're also wanting to dig into music and kind of bring that beautiful mastery together. What I like to look at it as is like a beautiful album cover, right? You go to the store and you go to buy something and you see this album, you don't even know who they are. You're like, but you see this stunning album cover in the bargain bin, right? Which is where I'm digging. And you buy that album and then you pop it in and it happens to be an absolute classic. And then you fall in love with it. That's kind of what I see as the marriage of music and art. I don't know. How do you look at it?
Certainly. It's so interesting walking into like any type of vinyl shop, if that's Lefties or that's what's close to my house. So that's where I go. And it is cool just spending the time looking at the artwork that it took. I remember one time there was an Andy Warhol one done. I'm terrible with my memory, so give me grace. But it had an actual zipper on the album, the vinyl cover. And I was like, oh, I can't pay for that now, but it has been ingrained in my mind ever since then. And just seeing the time that it took to make that and asking an artist like Andy Warhol to make a print and really put it out there, I think just really went with the time and what was going on. So maybe even looking at new album covers now, like Greta Van Fleet is one of my favorite vinyls that I like to put on. And it's red. And just thinking about how Taylor Swift is starting to do her very specific vinyl and pressing it, and each one's unique. That is an art form to me. So not just the music that it contains on that vinyl, on that album, it's a whole process of getting that artist to say yes, having the success of letting it be produced that many times, I think is just wonderful.
Well, I think the album that you're referring to is the Rolling Stones Sticky Fingers album.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, and thank God for the internet, right?
Yes. Yes. Sticky fingers.
Well, Kinzee's kind of speaking our language when it comes to this kind of stuff. Like this is mine and Cain's sweet spot of the show, is that we love that whole, the art behind the music, basically. Like we always feel like that, back then you get that physical thing in your hand, and it was something to cherish. And even though Cain will dig through the 50-cent bin all day long and find the most oldest scratched up ones and cherish them, they're still valuable.
Yes, certainly. They are. They are.
At the end of the day, you can make art out of them. At the end of the
Well, that's my point. Look at his background.
Exactly.
His studio it's nothing but art of old albums.
I think that's wonderful. I even ran into an artist, probably like on the internet, sure, but then more locally. His name is Bob Esquivel, and he does record art, which is so cool. I think he'll show a couple times at Francie and Finch. So if you're able to drop into that amazing bookstore, he has artwork around.
Well, Kinzee, let's dive into to what you got cooking and what you got going on. I definitely want to highlight this place that you're at. So please, if you could, tell everybody listening, like what you're up to and where this is at.
Yes. So I have a space on North 48th Street in between St. Paul and Madison Street, basically on the same side as Wesleyan University, if anybody knows where that's at. And it used to be an old telephone building and a couple other things. But when I stumbled upon it, or even started looking at buildings, I knew I wanted like studio spaces or some open walls, big walls to share art with the community. So after looking several different places around Lincoln, downtown, Havelock was even a place, I finally landed in University Place. And this has been home to me for a really long time, ever since I grew up. I went to Kehoe Elementary School and did swimming lessons at UNI Pool. So this place has been in my heart for a little bit. So it was kind of an instant yes, like this just felt right. And my house is just down the street. So why not have a business really close to your home? So the space is called Create 48, and that kind of looks like a window display with a front gallery. And I do have tattoo artists in the studio spaces that I was wanting. So there's about 3 tattoo artists in the same building of Create 48. And then on the back side is the gallery space. So this connects to an outdoor patio with kind of some twinkly lights and some shade sails, just kind of open air feel. I can open up 4 big doors and let it be gallery inside, outside. And it's been really fun. Ever since January, I've had host First Fridays and other special private events for small groups, about like 20 or so, very small. But as First Friday is, it's kind of come and go as you please.
How long have you been doing this?
So I graduated from Wesleyan in 2020. So kind of a weird year to graduate and want to start a business. So I kind of put that gallery idea on hold, but decided to do a mobile gallery instead. And that was in a Lingcraft camper, and kind of gutted the whole thing and just made it very accessible for art to go on the walls. So kind of took that around for a while until I felt like, okay, we're starting to do stuff again as a society, and kind of started looking for a building, like I said. So it's been about a year with me planning shows, doing shows, and stuff like that. Mm-hmm.
Well, you know where this is, Randy. This is right over by one of our former sponsors, and a good buddy of mine. He was with Sly Ink Tattoo, which I don't think that he's there now, but
Bryce.
Yeah,
He
Bryce.
was there for a portion of time. Yes, I got to know Bryce for a small chunk, and then he moved. So another artist came into the spot. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I grew up with Bryce in Air Park, so I used to go there I used to get all my tattoos there. I'm kind of sad he's gone, obviously, and I hope he comes back. But that blows my mind because I can remember him talking about there's stuff that's going to be going on in this courtyard over here, and that's what it was. You.
Wow. Full circle moment. Boom. Wow. That is the coolest thing. And talking about Bryce, still one of the first makers markets that I hosted, he brought his low riding group. So that's just, I see as another form of art. I grew up with cars, vintage cars, and that's just a whole nother layer of like the paint job, the grill, just everything about it, the chrome, it's just how it sparkles. Like it's its own writing art piece, own sculpture.
So do you do a lot of the art? Do you do art yourself, or are you seeking out other artists, local artists to kind of come on a regular basis and show off their stuff?
Yeah, so I kind of wear a couple different hats. I graduated with a studio art major and a business minor. So I feel like I kind of can do my art and then also promote it at the same time and do that for others. I want to do that for others. That's something I've always been interested in. So yes, I have my own studio practice, making my own paintings, and those are very colorful, sometimes abstract. You can also maybe find a flower or a plant or even a word in a painting. But what I want my viewers to at least get from looking at my art is this sense of relief, a sense of happiness when they leave the painting. There's a lot going on in this world, and there's been a lot going on for a long time. So just being able to take the time, kind of breathe, and not ask anybody to do anything, just look. But the same aspect of just look, I want to create an experience. So I have these makers markets that I do alongside University Place. They're hosted May through October, and they're going to be in the evening this year. And those are going to be every third Friday from 6 to 10. And I will host artists either in some 10 by 10 tents or underneath the patio area that I was talking about with the sail shades. And then there's a cool mural alley with 2 murals on each side of the building that I own. And then Empowered Healing, which is an amazing massage parlor. If you hurt, go there. Seriously, they're amazing. But it just creates this really cool vibe. Any picture that you take, you're going to get art in it some way or somehow, or at least an artist will be walking around. So trying to build that sense of community and make space for the artists to share what they've been working on for the past month or the past week.
Well, and here's the tie-in to the music is that you from what I understand want to start bringing musicians in to play. So can you talk a little bit more about that as kind of a PSA we have a lot of musicians that listen to the show. So let's give them a PSA right now that they need to get a hold of you.
Yes, please. So my contact, my email, I'll give it to y'all if you're interested. I'll describe it a little bit more, but Kinzee, that's spelled Kinzee, Hillis, Hillis, art@gmail.com. And what I'm trying to do alongside these makers markets or even First Fridays is having the music, that art element added to the live performance. So in the past, I've had a couple artists, Jonathan Leach being one of them, one of the first artists that said kind of yes to this gig. I go, all I have is an extension cord. I still just have an extension cord. So bear with me. Like I want to learn about what I need in order to be a better host Or what is it about outside that makes performing a little bit better? Or the inside environment, is it too echoey? I want to learn with your guys' expertise. I only played the clarinet, the viola, and did choir, and then a little piano too. But I just didn't keep with it as that art form. I decided to paint instead. But I like I'm down for any kind of music. I really am. If it matches the artist or the artwork or the theme that's there, I'm very open to what could happen. Always down to get a coffee, kind of chit chat, show off the space before anybody commits to anything. Like I said, there's like just some gravel and then another mural alley. But I have invested some more effort into other buildings down the way. And there's a warehouse building, and that's much bigger than the space that Create 48 of what I was just talking about. So I feel like there's some outdoor concerts that could happen too. But I really want to kind of get in touch with the music community in Lincoln and see like, what are your needs? And I know that we have an amazing music district that is forming and great things are happening downtown. But I just want people to know, like, if that's booked, please come on over.
Well, we just went through Lincoln Exposed here a few weeks back. And so there were 127 original bands here in Lincoln for just Lincoln Exposed. And we know there's a lot more that didn't get in and that or too busy or just a lot going on. But there's a lot of what I call kind of original organic garage band people that just want to play. Like they need space to play and practice and get their name out. And I hate to say this because it dates me, but I've dealt with some of these younger groups that are getting together. Like this sounds like their kind of vibe. Like they're kind of in that. I don't know. I think they're just happy all the time, people. But it's because they just want to share their music, and they're all super talented. So I think you're underestimating the value of really what you could offer here, because I think this is a perfect opportunity to get some of those types of bands, indie bands that want to kind of put out their own kind of music. They don't want to be put in a box, and they need venue spaces like yours to maybe get out and do something different.
Yeah. Well, thank you for highlighting that in such a way. I feel like you don't know what you don't know kind of thing. So like I might see a space and think XYZ, but a performer could see it and be like, this is perfect. So come and look at the space, email me if y'all are interested, or show up on a maker's market in University Place and just kind of discover the area and see if it's kind of a match.
Well, being around that area, and I've been there quite a few times, not necessarily for this yet, but as a musician, I would look at it as a great opportunity for kind of like a farmer's market type thing in a way, like singer-songwriters, right? Maybe like, one or two people doing acoustic, maybe somebody's got that type of thing to start. That's not saying that we're, the smaller bands and everything shouldn't. Maybe you want to go big sometime. Maybe you want to bring in a 5-piece and really rock University Place. That would be awesome.
Yeah, totally. Yes.
But that's how I see it. Yeah, like I used to busk downtown many moons ago, where I would just post up on a corner. I would put up a sign that says "We'll play for alcohol," and I would play songs all for 4 or 5 hours, and it would be a blast. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that is exactly what you need, but I think that that's a start. There's so many really talented people here, even just playing downtown, busking and doing things like that. So I would say that would be a good start if you ask me, Kinzee.
Well, thank you for the advice, you guys. I really appreciate you just being open to telling me what y'all think.
Well, I can't wait to go there. I have a daughter who's she's in the arts and humanities program here in town.
Yeah.
And so this definitely piques. I would love to take her and my kids to come check one of these out and look at it. Cause I mean, we love art in my family. I will give you a quick story. We took them down to the art gallery down at the university one time. And there was this really prominent painting from like Chicago, and it was heavily guarded and everything. And they're telling everybody not to like get too close to it and touch it. And I guess the guy watching it like turned his back, wasn't paying. Pretty soon he whips back around, and my little girl is spinning around with her arms out, like within like a couple inches of this painting. And I think this guy shot pee down his leg. He was so horrified. And I thought for years that they probably had a picture of her, like an artist rendition of like, if you see this kid, usher them out immediately. So that's kind of my family's brush with like major art.
Oh, very funny. Like I was just in Texas and I was at the Dallas Art Museum, and that kind of happened to me and my boyfriend. It was like he came over, he was very adamant, like, don't get too close. Yeah, that's not my kind of forte with the art that I'm making. I'm like, touch my piece. Like it's very textural. Like if you want to, go for it. Like if you are so inclined. I have a sculpture artist right now. We'll have a May 1st Friday from 5 till 8. And he's like all about walking sculpture around, get as close as you want, like there are no signs. And I think that's what's really cool about the Lincoln art scene. Whatever, maybe not gallery you go to, but there are certain pockets. Maybe let's say the Parish is another pocket that I think of where it's just raw and they're there to show you what they're doing. And that's exactly what I am doing, is like, if people are interested, let's ask questions. Let's look at it. Let's talk about it. Get close. That means you're interested. That means it's interesting.
I maybe got an idea for you, and my daughter will kill me for me bringing her up on the show. But so my daughter went to Wesleyan. She's a theater.
Oh, great.
Theater, played the violin. Very talented, and she's been part of several different performing groups, like Shakespeare in the Park kind of stuff. And I've been to some of her shows where they've been at some of these smaller, venues kind of like that around town. This sounds like perfect for a place like that to do small, theater type shows. Have you ever thought of stuff like that?
I do have a guy who's on the University Place Creative District board, and he's very interested in trying to pull in the Wesleyan students into University Place in such a way. So there is a connection there, and just trying to get the students over and knowing about what we have to offer as a creative district. As a student at Wesleyan doing the arts program, it was great. Once you were in it, you had your cluster of people. But once you got out, yes, it was 2020, but I think this happens with a lot of different artists, is where's my next community? Where's my next landing? I need to show this piece, but like I'm so in my head about it, I don't know who to show, to ask. Is it done? What does it need? Black, white, what? So I went to a few groups, and those were great. They did a lot for me at that time. But now, since I have expanded what I can offer, I want to create 48 critique groups, or just at least art community groups, where there is a landing for students or re-emerging artists or people who haven't found their right community yet. So I want to be very open to hosting the community and let me know what y'all need. Working at Wesleyan as a student, I was able to get into the theater department and do the costumes, and some quick changes ended up happening in the costume department too, for a specific, like Heathers. So now Heathers is probably my favorite musical, just because I was involved with it. The music is very, very interesting, laughable, and upbeat. So the theater department does have a very nice spot in my heart for like Wesleyan theater. It's amazing.
Well, listening to you talk about all of what you're doing, what I would say is be the leader here. Like create what nobody else has created, and do it your way. And here's what I've always found is that if you create something people will flock to it just for the intrigue of to find something new or to have, we talk about all the time that people in Lincoln, oh, there's nothing to do. We don't know what to do. Well, I was like that. And I finally said to myself, I'm just going to create what I want to see.
Yeah.
And you do it. And next thing you know, you've expanded in all these things. And I think this is what you're all about, is creating something bigger than what you probably even realize right now.
Probably. Yeah, probably. Yes.
But I tell you what, I used to have one of my bars I used to own on 48th Street, not far. So I dealt with a lot of the Westland theater kids.
Yeah.
And let me tell you what, when they would come in, these kids are talented. Like they put on a show. Like they would show up just to put on a show.
Oh, yes.
Like people would come just because they know, like Thursday night was the night after their practice or something. So after practice, and they're like, we're going to the bar to perform. Like the kids are great. That is what's really cool about that area, honestly, is a lot of the small town kids that come to Westland and hang out in that area, usually very talented, very, very nice. I'm always impressed with the with the youth on that side. Very respectful. I still deal with a lot of them today, even in stuff I do now. So I think you got something going on right there in the right spot.
Cool. Yeah, I know. There's just all these little moving parts, and just taking the time to I see them. They come right out of the North 48th Street studio right there. I need to go over there and start chit-chatting.
Well, probably make some cookies.
Yeah.
I tell you what, create a lemonade stand right there in the courtyard. And next thing you know, you'll have people there all the time.
Okay, perfect. Lemonade stand coming up. And cookies.
Well, you might be able to make $20 that way, is all I'm saying.
Nice. I like the idea. Another entrepreneurial idea. That's perfect.
Well, it sounds like you have it going on there. I mean, Northeast Lincoln is such a hub of, I think it's so important. It's such a great place in Lincoln. I know I give a lot of people crap because I went to Lincoln High, and, kind of our rival is Northeast. But I mean, I went to Dawes. I was supposed to go to Northeast. So like most of my friends were all deep rooted in it. So I get it. But, Kinzee, you misled me. You acted like maybe you weren't a musician, but it sounds like at one time you were on the fast track to becoming a musician. So let's talk about that for a second. So you were playing all those instruments. What made you kind of swerve away from it? I mean, didn't you want to pursue that to the next level? I mean, what was it for you?
Right. So I do have to say I am a dancer as well, maybe like more so retired now, but that was also happening at the same time. Ever since like second grade or something like that, I started clogging, not with the wooden shoes, with like you have 2 taps on the toes and then 2 taps on the bottom, and you're able like have a split sole so you can go on your toes. Much more hip hop related, traditional, lots of different genres to dance to. But I then became a competitive dancer for about 12 years. So that was just a kind of a lot of traveling, missing school a little bit. But I think the dancing career, I liked that a little bit better than the instrumental part of things. It was really hard to get all my practice sheet times. You know how to keep track of those? I was like, I'm definitely lying right now. I'm so sorry, but I need the gold star. Confession. Sorry, Miss Hotovy. But yeah, or Mr. Chernicott too. Shout out. Like I really did love my music teachers. They were really great. All the art teachers too that I had did teach me a thing or two, and I did not like wave from still doing art after a harsh maybe sentence or two about the piece. But whatever, that you just got to brush it off and step above it. But yeah, I did the instruments, I did the dance, and I think I picked dance over instruments. I also am a track person as well. I like to run cross country first, and then it was track and hurdles once I got to like middle school, high school, and then also ran at Wesleyan. So trying to pick between all of that. At Wesleyan, I kind of quit track and quit the dance and focused on the art. So that was another pivot that I had to make and decide, what am I going to spend my time with?
Well, those are those pivotal moments. I mean, truth be told, I've told everybody this. I had the opportunity to either be in band, my parents said, or I can play football. Well, I was built and born for football and violent sports. And I
Yeah.
did that growing up. But I suffered because I wanted to be a musician the whole time. I would peer off in the distance at my friends, or peer through the blinds and look out at them as they were doing all these cool musical things. So it took me later in life, a little later on, to be a musician. But I mean, I get it. It's interesting. I just like people's arc on how they go from this to that sort of thing. But obviously, you're a musical person. I mean, just somebody who clogs. I mean, as a person who's seen people clog before, you have to be musical in order to do it. You're basically an instrument dancing at the same time, right?
Yeah, that's so true. There's a category, I was saying traditional, standing line, but there's also a category called a cappella. So that's no music, just all footwork. And that could either be done as one individual solo, a duet, or a whole team. So then there's like 12 or so, or 6 or so dancers on a stage, keeping that same rhythm.
Well, I want to say, Kinzee gave me flashbacks of playing the French horn and lying on my practice sheets.
Yes.
And there's a reason why I became the business promoter and not the musician like Cain afterwards. I think once you've committed to lie, you've realized that I was not going to be an instrument player.
Yeah. And I must say too, I was like third chair. Like I was not like third chair. Wasn't the first. I was aspiring, but no, we could tell the difference when first chair was gone and it came down to third and second. We were both looking at each other like, "You better play loud." Did you practice? But my brother, he kind of took it a little further. He actually was in marching band, so I was still able to hear him play his trumpet a few times out of the week. And then he also was in the UNL marching band. So just being able to see those competitions or see him play on the Nebraska field, it was really cool and very impactful. And our family will always think of that as a wonderful time with music.
Well, that's the route my son's taking right now. My son is taking he's all in on jazz. We just bought him a drum set, much to our dismay, or at least my wife's. I'm glad we have a drummer in the house now, but it is really something when he's practicing. But like he's on the fast track to being in marching band, and he wants to do all of that stuff. He revealed to me he wants to be a musician. And I'm just like, man, I finally did it. Like, I've been molding this kid since a little kid. I bought him like one of those small, like baby drum sets. And ever since then, he's been hammering away at it. And now it's coming, it's coming true, everybody.
Yay. That's awesome. That's really cool.
Did you have him on Rock Band when that came out? That was the perfect way to get kids motivated to be the drummer of the house.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Oh, I remember that. That was definitely like a Christmas gift. They were like, "Oh my gosh," me and my brother were just all about it. I think I was usually the drummer. Don't let it fool you. I love to be the singer, but no. You don't want me to do the karaoke part of things. Turn the music up.
Well, my kids just missed that. We used to go to our in-laws' house and they had the whole set. And so when the family got together, I mean, it was going down, right? Like nobody wanted to be the singer on it, but you wanted to be everything else. And those are good times. Apparently, those games are coming back. Like they're on the new consoles, they're actually kind of like rebooting it a little bit into like, I forget what it is, stage something. And they're going to have guitars and all this. So don't worry, everybody. Those moments with your kids and your wife and grandma where you're sitting around, it's going to go down. It's happening. But I love it. I mean, that was an introduction. We've had musicians on the show, Randy, who've said that was their literal introduction to getting into bands, was like that was their big break.
Wow. That's really cool. That's awesome.
That was everybody coming to my house after the bar closed on Friday night. Everybody fighting over who gets to do what. I always wanted to be the drummer on that. I couldn't do the I couldn't do the guitar. It was, colors. I could.
Yeah.
But the guys that could is just like, yeah, they're just good. Not me. I like the rhythm of the drum. I got into that. That was my thing.
Yes. I feel like whenever Mississippi Queen comes on, I'm like, oh, yeah, my brain immediately goes back.
Those who know that Learn to Fly by the Foo Fighters and I think Black Hole Sun, like just playing that game, those two songs are burned into your memory.
Yes, completely agree.
So Kinzee, let's do what we usually do now. Let's ask you about your musical tastes. Let's ask you about like what physical formats or you're into. Are you a Spotify playlist curator? I mean, what is music and the love of it like for you?
Yes. Before I moved, I definitely had the whole setup with vinyl speakers. And actually, this was my dad's setup and most of his vinyl. So vintage vinyl, that's pretty cool. And then I've kind of collected a few of my own. My brother kind of got into records at the same time. So we were kind of giving each other gifts back and forth of records and stuff like that. Cassettes a little bit. Popping those in when I had my studio at home, had the whole setup there as well. But as I've moved, I haven't been able to hook everything back up and find a place that is its new home. So Spotify has been, my solid rock because I can just put everything right there, have all my likes, and then create different playlists that way. I do have an interesting category of it'll go from rock to Christian to pop to indie to country. I feel like I grew up with like country always on the radio, but also like ZZ Top and Led Zeppelin. So once I found like Greta Van Fleet and stuff like that, the newer pop rock, I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting what they did there. But yeah, Greta Van Fleet, really great band to listen to, in my opinion, on vinyl or on Spotify.
That's one of Kane's favorite bands.
Oh, really? Wow. I had just met a Wesleyan student who was like, yeah, I'm friends with one of them. I go, you gotta be kidding me. I go,
oh, Kane, we just made a connection for the Scratch the Vinyl.
So I have her number. I'll text her and be like, come here. We got to figure this out.
Kane just got excited.
This just blew my mind. I think we just became best friends. On this show. No, did you get a chance to catch them when they were at the arena? Did you catch that?
I didn't, but a friend of mine was able to with his sister. Like, I am so jealous. I really am so jealous at this moment in time. Because they were
unbelievable. I stand on the mountain of fighting everybody that wants to say that they're only a Led Zeppelin cover band in disguise, and I just want to push them down the mountain and tell them, please go away. Because Greta Van Fleet, I'm telling you, I mean, The Weighted Dreams alone, which is one of my favorite songs of all time, and it is like every time I listen to it, I get goosebumps. I'm actually getting goosebumps now thinking about the song. They're fantastic. So I love the fact that you love Greta Van Fleet.
That's funny. Yeah, Highway Tune and Safari Song are top up there for me. That was like the first album that I got from them. So
listen to Kinzee talk. Reminds me of something that I said last night at my show last night. Kane was in my time period of life, listening to Led Zeppelin. In perspective of that being classic rock is like the younger age kids thinking of Nirvana today. So put that in perspective. I used to think Led Zeppelin was old when I was in the 80s. So now imagine what kids today think of that, of what now Nirvana was the 90s. And it's like, they're like, oh, dang, we are old. But it just proves the music lasts forever. That's all I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm. That is so true. I really do feel that way just the same, because maybe it's my clogging, my dance background of like having to dance to all these different genres for all these different categories. yeah, you're just exposed to music maybe that you wouldn't normally listen to. And then you kind of like get that rhythm and you're like, I kind of like that. I want that in my life. So you kind of go and discover music that hits that same note and everything. Because yeah, I would probably say Dolly Parton is my favorite musician of all time. But now that I hear Lainey Wilson sing as well, I'm like, oh, maybe Lainey is my new Dolly. But Dolly will always be there too, because her music will always be around. So that makes me excited.
It's hard to put in perspective that Dolly Parton's been performing for 7 decades.
Yeah.
Like,
and she's still putting stuff out there.
She's still amazing.
Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, for Pete's sake. Like,
well, it's her and Willie at this point, right? For like the top of the country mountain, they've been doing it since the beginning of time.
Willie's 93.
Yeah.
Like Willie, it's funny to look back with like Farm Aid stuff. Willie was in his 50s. Like he was old then, like in perspective, and he's still out there today playing that guitar with a hole in it. That still has its character. It's amazing. But yeah, Dolly's another one of those that I think transcends genres and time. And she put out a song tomorrow and people will still love it. And you're right. Lainey Wilson is hot. You don't have to be I don't think you have to be a big country fan to not realize she's got something going on there. And what's funny is like Nashville kind of rejected her originally. Like she had to go do her own thing to get noticed. And it made it, as me and Cain talk, authentic to the fans. And yeah, definitely hot right now.
Well, yeah, Nashville kind of did her wrong. They kind of like told her like, you need to lose a couple pounds and they did the whole Nashville thing. And she was beautiful just the way she was. I mean, she was great now, but she was perfect, absolutely perfect the way she was. And it really didn't matter because her talent supersedes all that. None of the other stuff matters. Just listen to the music at the end of the day, and I think her work stands for itself.
Well, Kinzee, we do appreciate you taking time out today to sit down and kind of let us know what's going on in Unite Place and what you're trying to do to create, a different kind of district in town. So before we let you get out of here and stuff, why don't you tell us what's the next biggest thing that's happening and let us help promote and maybe get some people there for you.
Yeah. So May 1st, Friday, the district will all be open from, depends on time, but usually like from 5 till 8 is a good shot in the dark for when galleries will be open. That would include the Lux Center for the Arts, Elder Gallery on Nebraska Wesleyan campus. We have a couple other places, Archway Studios, which Avant-Garde is revived, and that is their new location in there. Gathering Grove is another great spot to hit up on the corner, and Mojave. And then why not get a drink at Dame or Bar 48 along the way? Then you'll hit Create 48. And there's a lot of murals along the whole entire stretch of North 48th Street. So you're always going to see something really cool. So May 1st, Friday, which lands on May 1st, 5 to 8. And then we will start our makers markets. And those will be every third Friday, May through October. I'll list those dates so everybody has those. That's May 15th, June 19th, July 17th, August 21st, September 18th, and October 16th. And those will be night markets. So from 6 to 10, we'll have lighting and vendors all up and down St. Paul and location at Create 48, which our address is 2728 North 48th Street. 68504 is the zip code.
Hey, and also hit them with those socials so that they know where to go to see all these great events that you have coming up.
Yes. So if you're wanting to see my artwork, it'll be Kinzee_Hillis_art_page. Now, if you want to have the Create 48 Instagram, that's create, CREATE __48. Yeah. And it should be like a little vinyl or a So sorry, little neon looking character with an arrow and a 48 on the sides. We'll have signage soon, but right now to identify the building, it's a purple front and a courtyard, and we have a beautiful mural done by Danny Reno, and you should see like a meadowlark popping out of the building.
Well, Kinzee, always know you're welcome to post your dates on our page, on the Scratch the Vinyl page. Our fans that love art and music and want to get connected, don't be afraid to post that on our page. We'd be more than happy to promote it for you.
Well, thank you guys so much for just holding space for a creative like me and what I'm trying to start here with a whole plethora of other individuals on North 48th Street in the creative district. I appreciate what you guys are doing for Lincoln, Nebraska, abroad, and just the music scene and the creative scene.
Well, there you go, Scratchaholics out there. We have just provided you with yet another great guest where we're showing you guys that we are so much more than just a music town. Even though we are an unbelievable music town, we are also an artistic town and an unbelievable place that is deep rooted with just unbelievable minds. So thank you once again, Kinzee, for being on the show. And for all you Scratchaholics out there, keep scratching everybody every week as you come back, and we'll catch you on the flip side here on
Scratch the Vinyl. Scratch the Vinyl.